Let's now go across to Gopal Bagley, spokesperson of the Ministry of External Affairs, speaking at this time. Let's listen to what he has to say.
Because it means that till such time as the International Court of Justice is seized with the matter, it does not come out with the final decision in the matter, Shri Kulbhushan Jadhav cannot be executed by Pakistan. You would also recall that the External Affairs Minister had assured the Parliament of India, which represents the sovereign people of India, that the government will do everything possible for ensuring justice for Mr. Jadav, for saving his life. Today, you would have seen that External Affairs Minister has once again has repeated that assurance and has said that under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi, the government shall not leave any stone unturned in its effort to save Mr. Jadhav. So this is where we stand, and I think the provisional relief which India has been granted on its request, it constitutes an essential first step in ensuring justice for Mr. Jadhav. We hope that it will help remedy the egregious violations of Jadhav's rights and also the violations of international convention by Pakistan in this matter. अब मैं कोशिश करता हूँ कि उसको हिंदी में। आप लोगों ने मित्रों देखा कि आज थोड़ी देर पहले इंटरनेशनल कोर्ट ऑफ जस्टिस ने, जो कि हेग में है, एक ऑर्डर, एक आदेश पारित किया है, जो कि भारत की प्रार्थना पर उन्होंने पारित किया है, और उसमें उन्होंने ये निर्देश दिया है कि पाकिस्तान ऐसे सारे कदम उठाए जो कि संभव हैं, जिससे कि ये सुनिश्चित किया जा सके कि श्री जाधव को दिया गया मृत्युदंड तब तक क्रियान्वित नहीं किया जाएगा जब तक कि इंटरनेशनल कोर्ट ऑफ जस्टिस इस करंट मामले में, जो कि उनके विचाराधीन है, अपना अंतिम निर्णय नहीं दे देता। और उसने पाकिस्तान को ये भी निर्देश दिया है कि वो कोर्ट को ये बताए कि कोर्ट के इस पारित आदेश का क्रियान्वयन करने के लिए, इसको लागू करने के लिए पाकिस्तान ने क्या कदम उठाए हैं। ये एक बहुत ही स्पष्ट निर्णय है, सर्वसम्मति से लिया गया। 15 जजेस हैं, आप जानते हैं, पूरी दुनिया भर को रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं इस कोर्ट में, जो कि विश्व का सबसे हाईएस्ट कोर्ट है, यूनाइटेड नेशंस का पार्ट है। और इस आदेश में किसी तरह की कोई अस्पष्टता नहीं है, बिल्कुल स्पष्ट है, एकदम साफ है, और इसमें कोई किंतु परंतु नहीं है। और ये स्पष्ट है कि जब तक अंतिम फैसला नहीं आता अंतर्राष्ट्रीय कोर्ट का इस मामले में, तब तक श्री जाधव का जीवन सुरक्षित रहना चाहिए, ऐसा निर्देश कोर्ट ने पाकिस्तान को दिया है। आप लोगों को याद होगा कि विदेश मंत्री महोदया ने भारत के संसद को ये आश्वासन दिया था इस विषय पर बोलते हुए पिछले महीने, कि सरकार वो सभी संभव कदम उठाएगी जिससे कि श्री जाधव के लिए न्याय सुनिश्चित किया जा सके, उनके जीवन की रक्षा करी जा सके। आज उन्होंने ये आश्वासन जब ट्वीट किया है, तो ये आश्वासन उन्होंने दोहराया है और कहा है कि प्रधानमंत्री श्री मोदी के नेतृत्व में सरकार कोई भी ऐसा प्रयास नहीं छोड़ेगी जिसको कि किया जा सके। वी शैल लीव नो स्टोन अनटर्न्ड। ये जो निर्णय आया है, ये आप जानते हैं कि भारत की प्रार्थना पर दिया गया है, और हम इसे इस नज़रिए से देखते हैं कि श्री जाधव के जो अधिकार हैं और अंतर्राष्ट्रीय कन्वेंशंस का जो वायलेशन और श्री जाधव के अधिकारों का जो वायलेशन, उसका हनन जो पाकिस्तान ने किया, उसको सही करने की दिशा में ये पहला ज़रूरी कदम है। हम ये आशा करते हैं कि इस पहले ज़रूरी कदम के बाद जो पाकिस्तान ने घोर हनन किया है उनके अधिकारों का, श्री जाधव के अधिकारों का और अंतर्राष्ट्रीय कानून का, उसको सही करने की दिशा में मदद मिलेगी। और इस निर्णय से पूरे भारत ने और हम सभी ने राहत की सांस ली है। हम इसका स्वागत करते हैं। मेरे ख्याल से ये सवाल आप लोग जाधव मसले पर ही पूछना चाहेंगे, और आज क्योंकि वक्त थोड़ा कम है, आप लोग को भी लेट हो गया है, तो हम लोग खाली जाधव मसले पर कुछ सवाल लेते हैं। इधर से शुरू करते हैं, एक सिरे से, देन वी विल गो लाइक दिस एंड देन वी विल कम दिस साइड। आई हैव रजिस्टर्ड।
Mr. Bagley, firstly, congratulations on this initial relief. But, we've just received a statement from the Attorney General's office in Pakistan which says that this is merely a protocol measure and they do not give it much relevance. If I can quote just one sentence from it, it says the court has clearly understood that the provisional measures are without prejudice to the final determination of the merits and jurisdiction of the case. How do you see this statement? And also, you know, we have seen not a great precedent in the past, the US case in which they went ahead with the execution. Do you think the rift between the Pakistan military and the civilian government would be detrimental to this particular case?
I will like to answer Adit's question first because it's a very important question, then we will move on. Adit, I don't wish to comment on what the Attorney General of Pakistan has said, but I hope that we all have, as we have all heard, I think the concerned authorities in Pakistan, I hope that they have heard what the Honorable President of the International Court of Justice said while reading his order, that this order, that is his order, which is read out, and which is available on the International Courts of Justice's website, on the MEA website also. He said very clearly that this order creates legally binding international obligation. Yeah. Yeah.
Sir, how do we go about the consular access now? अब consular access पे होगा क्या भारत औपचारिक तौर पर एक बार फिर से रिक्वेस्ट करेगा या बाइंडिंग है, आप एक्सपेक्ट करेंगे कि पाकिस्तान आपको खुद consular access दे? दूसरा, एक क्लैरिटी के लिए मैं आपसे पूछना चाहता हूं कि हम फैसला, जो फाइनल फैसले की बात हो रही है, हम क्या एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं, consular access पे या उसकी मौत की सजा पर?
सर, इसी में जोड़ना चाहते हैं कि पहले कुलभूषण जाधव के पेरेंट्स ने वीज़ा के लिए एप्लीकेशन लगाई थी, हालांकि अभी थोड़ी जल्दबाजी होगी, लेकिन क्या हम लोग फिर दोबारा वीज़ा के लिए लगाएंगे और ये जो मुकदमा चलेगा पाकिस्तान में उसको हम पैरेलल चलाएंगे इंटरनेशनल कोर्ट के, या फिर पहले इंटरनेशनल कोर्ट के फैसले का इंतजार करेंगे?
सर, दो चीज़ें, एक तो जो मनीष ने पूछा उसी में कि क्या भारत के पास जो कानूनी विकल्प पाकिस्तान में होंगे उन्हें एक्सरसाइज किया जाएगा। दूसरी चीज ये है कि इंटरनेशनल कोर्ट ऑफ जस्टिस में अब जो आगे के कदम होंगे, क्या आप स्पेल आउट कर सकते हैं कि आगे के कदम क्या होंगे? क्या रिटन सबमिशन फिर से फाइल किया जाएगा एक, ताकि नॉर्मल प्रोसीडिंग्स चल सके?
Sir, India has asked for a fair number of things: medical certificate, visas for parents, consular access. Yet, if you saw the Attorney General's statement, he says right at the end very clearly, we will take this to the logical end. Logical end, in their case, since there is a death sentence, is a fairly threatening phrase. Could you comment on that, please?
Sir, just wanted to clarify. Again, it comes to a question that was asked earlier, but are we specifically going to request the ICJ for consular access to Mr. Jadav going ahead, or are we expecting that to happen as a normal course of process given the order today?
जैसा कि हम सबने देखा है, पाकिस्तान ने ये दर्शाना शुरू कर दिया है कि आईसीजे का फैसला वो लागू नहीं कर सकता है। ऐसे में भारत के पास जो विकल्प मौजूद हैं उसमें क्या वो राजनीतिक स्तर पर अंतर्राष्ट्रीय जगत में एक प्रेशर क्रिएट करने की कोशिश करेगा अपने मित्रों के जरिए, दोस्तों के जरिए, और पाकिस्तान को बाध्य करेगा? क्या इस विकल्प पर भारत विचार कर रहा है?
Sir, are we going to parallelly, continue pursuing the case in Pakistan? Because as Judge Ronnie Abraham himself pointed out...
This question has been asked.
Sir, just one point I wanted to add. Judge Ronnie Abraham today pointed out that 19th May, that is tomorrow, is the last day for Kulbhushan Jadhav personally to file an appeal. He said there's uncertainty. So today on an urgent basis, are we going to take up that matter with Pakistan as to whether he has even been able to appeal against the verdict?
सर, पाकिस्तान अगर वर्ल्ड कोर्ट के फैसले को मान्य नहीं करता है तो ऐसे में हमने क्या-क्या विकल्प ढूंढ रखा है कि किस तरह से इसको आगे लेके जाएंगे इस पूरे मैच को?
ये भी सवाल पूछ चुके
सर, चीन जो है वो भी इंटरनेशनल कोर्ट के वर्डिक्ट को नहीं मानता रहा है और जाहिर तौर पे पाकिस्तान चीन को फॉलो कर सकता है। ये सवाल पूछा जा चुका है कि विकल्प हमारे पास क्या होगा, लेकिन दूसरा सवाल मेरा यह है कि इस पर नेक्स्ट हियरिंग को लेकर क्या कोई जानकारी हमारे पास है?
Sir, my question is on Pakistan, but not on Kulbhushan Jadhav. Sir, you might have seen the India Today report on Hurriyat, how Pakistan is funding Hurriyat leaders to spread violence and disturbance in Kashmir. So, are we going to take up this matter with Pakistan on any platform?
Gopal, Maha has partly asked this question. Tomorrow is the last day of the first appeal that Mr. Jadav has to file in the court. Has he filed the appeal, or is Indian government aware of this filing, or are we filing? And what is the second stage? Are we, if not him, that is the government of India entitled to file an appeal on his behalf?
अभी एक लास्ट सवाल पूछ लेते हैं इसी से। हाँ सर, ये जो आशीष ने पूछा वही है कि हमने पूरा प्रेयर क्या किया है, इस कोर्ट से हम क्या चाहते हैं?
सर, छोटा सवाल ये है कि इस पूरे प्रोसेस में जो फाइनल हियरिंग होगी और फाइनल डिसीजन आएगा, हम क्या उम्मीद करें, कितना वक्त लगेगा इसमें?
I'll try and answer these questions in points, not necessarily in the order that this was asked. Srinjoy, your question was very similar to what Aditya had asked. So my answer is essentially the same, that the order, while reading out the order, the president of the ICJ very clearly said that this order, which he delivered today, on India's request for provisional measures, creates an internationally, it's binding legally, internationally. So I won't like to speculate into what will happen. आप लोगों ने बहुत ने सवाल पूछा है कि अगर पाकिस्तान नहीं मानेगा तो क्या होगा। देखिए, भारत लॉ अबाइडिंग कंट्री है, हम लोग कानून का पालन करते हैं, अंतर्राष्ट्रीय कानून का पालन करते हैं। हम ये मान के चलेंगे कि जो इंटरनेशनली लीगली बाइंडिंग ऑर्डर है उसका अंतर्राष्ट्रीय समुदाय के सभी लोगों को पालन करना चाहिए। तो एट दिस स्टेज आई वोंट लाइक टू स्पेकुलेट एज टू व्हाट विल हैपन इफ दिस हैपन्स और दिस डज नॉट हैपन। उनके वीज़ाज़ के बारे में आपने पूछा कि दोबारा उन्होंने अप्लाई किया है कि नहीं। मुझे जहाँ तक मेरी सूचना है, मुझे नहीं पता है कि उनकी पहली एप्लीकेशन पर कोई निर्णय लिया गया है। मुझे ये पता है कि वीज़ा उनको अभी तक मिला नहीं है, तो दोबारा अप्लाई करने की ज़रूरत है या नहीं है, ये मुझे जानकारी इस बात की अभी नहीं है, और उनके परिवार को इस बात की जानकारी भी शायद इस वक्त तक नहीं है। दूसरी बात आप लोगों ने पूछी कि कॉन्सुलर एक्सेस के बारे में फाइनल फैसला क्या होगा, और भी अदर क्वेश्चंस विच यू हैव आस्क्ड रिलेटिंग टू द फ्यूचर कोर्स ऑफ एक्शन। देखिए, दिस मैटर इज सब जुडिस। आई एम करेंटली कमेंटिंग एंड आंसरिंग योर क्वेश्चंस स्पेसिफिक टू द डेवलपमेंट टुडे. As to what will happen in the future, what course the matter will take, how the court will conduct its hearing, I think it's best not to go into those things at this stage. The court is seized of the matter. It has very clearly said that till final decision of the court comes in this matter, Pakistan should not do A and should do A and B. So it is very clearly specified. So the matter is sub judice in International Court of Justice. According to its rules and procedures, obviously it will move forward. आपका जो सवाल है अखिलेश जी, और आप लोगों ने, बहुत लोगों ने यहाँ भी किया और अलग से भी आप लोग पूछ रहे हैं कि इंडिया की प्रेयर क्या है, what have we asked for. I would request you, what we spoke in our last briefing, to please go through again if you have already gone through. If you haven't, then kindly look up the press release which was brought out by the International Court of Justice summing up India's prayer. I think it was on 9th or 10th of I'll just check it and I'll let you know. Yeah, I think yes, you're right. It was press release number 2017/16, 9th May 2017. That very clearly sums up what India's prayers are, what relief has India sought, and also what provisional measures India had sought. So kindly look that up. I have actually nothing further to add because we have already spoken about it on the last occasion. Next hearing कब होगी? Obviously this up to the court to decide when it will sit next. क्या हम लोग पैरेलल करेंगे पाकिस्तान से बात? देखिए, हमने कॉन्सुलर एक्सेस के लिए उनको बोल तो रखा ही है, उनसे डिमांड कर रखा है कॉन्सुलर एक्सेस। हमारा तो केस यही है कि वियना कन्वेंशन के अंतर्गत उनको कॉन्सुलर एक्सेस, कॉन्सुलर भेंट की अनुमति दे देनी चाहिए थी। तो वियना कन्वेंशन का उल्लंघन के कारण हम लोगों को ICJ जाना पड़ा। तो अगर पाकिस्तान चाहता है कॉन्सुलर एक्सेस देना तो वो कभी भी दे सकता है, लेकिन इस वक्त ये मामला इंटरनेशनल कोर्ट ऑफ जस्टिस में चला गया है। और जैसा कि आपने आज प्रेसिडेंट को भी सुना होगा, उन्होंने जब वो सम अप कर रहे थे सारा केस, तो उन्होंने, और वो पूरा ऑर्डर भी अब वेबसाइट पर है, आप देख सकते हैं, ही हैज सेड दैट देयर इज अ डिस्प्यूट राइट नाउ बिटवीन द टू पार्टीज रिगार्डिंग द एप्लीकेशन ऑफ पैराग्राफ 36(1) ऑफ द वियना कन्वेंशन। सो आई वुड अगेन रिक्वेस्ट यू एंड आई वुड अगेन रिफर यू एंड सजेस्ट टू यू दैट इफ यू हैवंट देन काइंडली लुक अप द एंटायर ऑर्डर। अपील की तारीख 19 तारीख, उन्होंने अपील दायर करी है कि नहीं करी है, दुर्भाग्यवश अनफॉर्चुनेटली इट इज़ स्टिल अनक्लियर टू अस। From what I gathered watching the proceedings live on the TV, I am not sure if it is clear to the International Court of Justice also whether appeal has been filed or as to what the fate is. In fact, the court has very clearly said that the urgency stems from the fact that even though there is perhaps this 150-day period, what will happen after August 2017 or when the 150-day period is something very unfortunate can happen. So we are not clear. We do not have any information, and no official information has been given to us in this regard. And that appeal, I think you were asking about the appeal which Mr. Jadhav would have filed or had the right to file. We have no information, but certainly, as you all know, the mother of Shri Jadhav had sent the petition and the appeal through the High Commission of India, and it was handed over to the Pakistani authorities earlier on. You are very well aware of that. So I think I have covered almost all the aspects, and I think I would join all of you in feeling a sense of
consular access issue. Like, do we file a fresh application to seek a consular access or?
No, I answered that question, Pranay. मैंने कहा कि consular access की तो हमने 16 बार उनसे गुजारिश करी हुई है, डिमांड करी हुई है, मांग करी हुई है। अगर वो चाहते हैं तो कभी भी दे सकते हैं consular access. None of those requests has been withdrawn. हाँ, आप कुछ कह रहे थे आशीष? हाँ, जी। हुर्रियत के नेताओं के बारे में are you surprised to hear that?
There is, for the first time, there is concrete evidence on camera that.
So that's what I am asking. आपको क्या ताज्जुब हो रहा है इस बात को सुन के? पाकिस्तान की भूमिका क्या रही है कश्मीर में, ये हम सबको पता है। तो हमें तो इस बात से कोई ताज्जुब नहीं होना चाहिए कि पाकिस्तान कश्मीर में और भारत के दूसरे हिस्सों में भी आतंकवाद को किस तरीके से बढ़ावा देता रहा है, किस तरीके से उसने आतंकवादी गतिविधियों को सहारा दिया है, पाला पोसा है और हमारे ऊपर थोपा है। तो वो तो सबको पता ही है, इसमें कोई नई बात नहीं है। Thank you very much.
That was Gopal Bagley, the spokesperson of the Ministry of External Affairs. The big story, of course, is that there is massive consternation in Pakistan, lots of chest beating, several former judges speaking out, saying that they're very upset with the fact that the Pakistani government went to the ICJ. The big question from India's perspective, what happens next? Will we be able to get Kulbhushan Jadhav back? Us on this broadcast, I want to introduce our guests. General G.D. Bakshi is joining us. We've got Shafqat Saeed joining us. We've got Kapil Sankha. He's a Supreme Court advocate. Sachin Khale is a friend of Kulbhushan Jadhav. I want to first go across to Gaurav Sawant. Gaurav, in this verdict, in the order that's been given out today, it's been made very clear that Kulbhushan Jadhav cannot be sentenced. But Pakistan saying the ICJ has no jurisdiction. The MEA saying that they will have, it said, legally binding international obligation for Pakistan, the ICJ verdict. But in the previous instance, when something similar happened, the United States overruled what the ICJ had said and went ahead and executed the people in the Legrand case. So therefore, we're still in a very, very complicated situation, Gaurav.
This is complicated, Rahul, but in this case, the judge, the president of the International Court of Justice himself made it very clear that this decision is binding on both parties, making it very clear that Pakistan will not only have to ensure that Kulbhushan Jadhav is not hanged, but have to come and inform the International Court of Justice.
Gaurav, stay with me. Arun Jaitley speaking. I want to listen to what he has to say, the Defence Minister in Srinagar.
This order, though interim, is a very serious indictment of the kind of mockery in the name of judicial system that exists in Pakistan. Any form of judicial proceeding which is conducted in secrecy, which is conducted in darkness, and which is not open for any public gaze, lacks the very appearance of justice. And this proceeding and the order today highlights the importance of the fact that when a person is allegedly accused, he has a right of effective defense. Because unless that right of effective defense is exercised, the proceeding doesn't inspire the confidence of fairness. Consular access is a part of that right of effective defense. Unless a person has access to his own consulate, he can't be aided and assisted in defending himself. He can't even get a counsel of his own choice. And I think this is essential for both rule of law and fairness. And for any student of law, it's but obvious that secret proceedings conducted in darkness are conspiratorial in nature. And denial of consular access only emphasizes that denial. And therefore it's a great vindication of India's stance. And the entire Indian team at Hague deserves to be congratulated. The External Affairs Minister, Mrs. Sushma Swaraj, who piloted this strategy, Mr. Harish Salve, who effectively argued this matter, deserve a special mention. And I think in the annals of international law, this judgment is a great victory of the rule of law itself. This is all I had to say on these three subjects. Dr. Arya will give you some specific details, after which I'll take the questions.
The broad division, actually you would be interested in knowing there are, is it true?
That's Arun Jaitley congratulating the Indian team at The Hague and Sushma Swaraj. Gaurav Sawant is joining us from The Hague. We've got Hamza Amir joining us from Pakistan. Hamza, lots of anger in Pakistan. I'm looking here at the various responses coming in. People angry with the advocate, people angry with the manner in which the case was presented, people angry also with the fact that Pakistan went to the ICJ in the first place.
Well, yes, Rahul, because now the decision is not in Pakistan's favor. Obviously, there is a lot of, criticism coming out. Some people are criticizing the ICJ for giving a biased decision. Some people say that it was only in a foreign influence that actually worked for India. But Pakistan's foreign office actually come out with a statement clarifying and actually identifying Pakistan's official position that it does not change. ICJ's decision do not change anything when it comes to the verdict on Yadav is concerned, because they say there is still time, and they claim that now it's going to be more hearings and proceedings into the case with the ICJ going forward. They will ensure that they will expose India when it comes to creating havoc over issues that are related to Pakistan.
Stay with me, Hamza. I'm going to take a very quick break. We've got lots of special guests joining us. What happens next? Can Pakistan overrule the ICJ? Will Pakistan be forced to fall in line? What are the options before the Kulbhushan Jadhav family? Some of Commander Kulbhushan Jadhav's friends will be joining us. Will Pakistan be made to obey the order passed by the International Court of Justice? Can it play truant and decide that it will not follow the orders passed by the President of the ICJ? Joining us on India Today this evening, Shafqat Saeed from Pakistan, General G.D. Bakshi, Kapil Sankla with me in the studio. Sachin Kale is a friend of Kulbhushan Jadhav, with us also Hamza Amir and Gaurav Sawant. I want to go across first Shafqat Saeed. I'm looking at reports, Mr. Saeed, of huge embarrassment in Pakistan. I see lots of your former judges, your former attorney generals are speaking out. Pakistan has shot itself in the foot, says Shaikh Usmani justice. ICJ was a mistake. We shouldn't have gone there. They shouldn't have attended. So essentially, if you look at all the responses on Pakistani social media, various judges speaking out in your local media, Pakistan deeply embarrassed this evening, Mr. Shafqat Saeed.
No, we are not embarrassed. And this is International Court of Justice is yet to complete the case, and this was just an interim ruling by the court. And it just does not perturb us. And one thing more, that even if the court decides in favor of India, when the International Court of Justice decision and the local law are not in conflict, the preference goes to the local law. And I think that it is a matter of Pakistan's defense and security, and it is Pakistan's defense against aggression. So it is not binding on Pakistan to take lead from or obey the International Court of Justice.
So are you saying
decision.
Pakistan will not obey the International Court of Justice order? Pakistan would rather be an international rogue rather than listen to an order passed by a bipartisan
Whatever you say,
jury?
I don't mind it. From an Indian, it is normal. Keep saying that. This is rubbish. Whatever you are using,
You're okay
words
being
you
called
are using, or the
international
opinion you are
rogues.
flashing.
A banana republic that doesn't listen to the ICJ.
It does not go with your status and with your channel's reputation.
Okay. Kapil Sankla, he's saying, yes, we are rogues.
Like
yes,
that.
we are a banana republic. We don't care. We will not listen to what the ICJ is saying. Is very clear.
In essence, what he's trying to say is that even if there is an order against us, we will not follow it because we do not follow the rule of law. They have an escapist mentality. They're say
okay
that
being called international
they're
rogues.
okay being called a rogue. They're okay being called a person who does not follow the rule of law, the basic principles of international law as they are.
General Bakshi, this is absurd. Shafqat Saeed saying, yes, we are international rogues. Yes, we are okay with not following the international law, no matter how silly the world may think we are, no matter how much of a banana republic you may think we are, we will not follow the international order.
Nonsense.
General Bakshi.
I would just like to remind Colonel Shafqat Saeed, he is otherwise a very reasonable person. He debates very logically. But I would like to remind him today, the judgment of the International Court of Justice was absolutely unanimous. And at the end of it, Colonel Saeed, they very pointedly said the judgment of this court is binding. If you do not have belief in the systems of international justice, why did your country go to the International Court of Justice and present its case there? It is now that you have lost that case very clearly on all the points raised by you, and let me raise them one by one. You said the bilateral agreement of 2008 supersedes the Vienna Convention. Wrong. The court said no. You said a terrorist and a spy does not get protection of consular access under the Vienna Convention. The court said no.
Absolutely.
On point by point.
Shafqat Saeed, your case has been demolished.
The court said yes.
And the most important thing is you could have not gone to the ICJ Once you've gone and presented your case before the ICJ, you're bound to go by whatever the international lordships decide. And what they've decided is that your case didn't have any legs to stand on. That's the reality, Shafqat Saeed. You can't run away from it.
What is running away? We can't, the country, we are at our place. And one thing for sure is that you are knocking a wrong door, you are going a wrong way. This is not where you can secure his release. It is with Pakistan, and you have to approach the correct way out. And the correct way out is mend your ways with Pakistan so that you can secure his release. And if you want to push your way through, I'm sorry, you have lost it, whatever judgment comes from ICJ.
No, but this is an absurd situation where you cannot walk away from the ICJ. But the fact, Kapil Sankla, is America has done. He's saying why not? Yes, he's saying why not. America has done this once. In an order which was passed in the Legrand case,
yes,
the order was against them. They said, no, we'll go by what our own judges are saying.
So even if you go by that precedent, what had happened was that the precedent had given an assent to that. However, the Supreme Court there said that that cannot be binding on the judiciary there. So there is one, you cannot take advantage of that judgment in this case. Secondly, the Legrand judgment also laid down the fact that an interim order of the ICJ might be binding on the party concerned. So therefore, on that ground also, in this case, that would be binding.
G.D. Bakshi, you're hearing General what Shafqat Saeed is saying. He says, we don't care. Why not? We will not listen to the ICJ. Let them do what they want. That's the kind of mood. He's reflecting the mood in Pakistan. They're saying, let the ICJ say what we will. What will come of it? Nothing will come of it. That's their approach.
You know, the fact of the matter is that Pakistan is trying to show some Dutch courage. They are trying to tell the world that they are of the same league as the United States. You know, there were 3 precedent cases. One was in 1998 when Paraguay went to the International Court of Justice against the United States. Second case, 1999, Germany went to the International Court of Justice against the United States. Third case, 2003, Mexico went to the International Court of Justice to, complain about non-compliance with the Vienna VCCR. In all 3 cases, the International Court of Justice upheld. What Shafqat Saeed is trying to tell us is that Pakistan is now a superpower. It is, greater than the United States of America. And like its friend China, it will show 2 fingers to the International Court of Justice. I'm afraid you are overestimating your power potential, your standing in the world, and what the collective body of the world can do to you. America was a member of the Security Council. It has the veto.
Big difference. Pakistan is no America, and the likes of Shafqat Saeed have to be totally delusional to believe that America didn't listen to the ICJ, so Islamabad can't listen to the ICJ. It won't work like that. The full force of the international body of opinion will come down on you. Kapil Sankla, before we slipped into a break, we heard the Pakistani guest say, we won't listen, America didn't listen, why should we? Does that logic hold?
That's a wonderful argument, and it does not hold any water, because we have to remember that the stick that ICJ has is the UN Security Council.
Correct.
There are 5 permanent members. US is one of them, China is another. US has the power to veto any action, which is what it used in 3 of the 4 cases. In the 4th case, the consent was given by the president. It was shot down by the Supreme Court judge in that matter. Pakistan is not a member of...
Colonel Shafqat Saeed, Kapil Sankla very clearly pointing out, if it needs to be pointed out at all, that Islamabad is not Washington and you should stop kidding yourself. You can't do what Uncle Sam did.
Time will tell all that. Time will tell all that.
Yeah, you think you can do what America did? Is that really what you believe, Shafqat Saeed?
Time will prove that. You are going on the wrong way. This is not the way out. For sure, Kulbhushan Singh is a dead man. Let me tell you that. Go wherever you go, do whatever you do. You are not adopting the right path.
You know, you sound like a bloodthirsty lynch mob.
With Pakistan.
You sound like a leader of a bloodthirsty lynch mob. instead of a reasonable person who's talking about diplomatic protocol, General Bakshi is saying no matter where you go, Kulbhushan Jadhav is a dead man. Is this the kind of language international guests should be speaking, General Bakshi?
Look at your language, the way you refer to my country and me. The way
you know, the fact of the matter is, then I would like to talk back to him. I'd like to talk back to him in exactly the same language, in a quid pro quo. Colonel Shafkat Saeed, if Kulbhushan Jadhav is a dead man, we have 27 of your spies in our custody. Count them as dead already. That is not where it will end, Colonel Shafkat Saeed. You have to think carefully. You must think things through. You are vulnerable, you have vulnerabilities, and India will raise costs and consequences for you. You know, the United States can hope to get away because it is the sole superpower. I'm afraid you are nowhere close to a superpower. Your military power is much less than ours, and we can make things.
This can get very, very messy for Pakistan. All kinds of bluster and bravado we're seeing from Pakistan, from the guest on our channel, and also from voices there. They're saying we won't listen to the International Court of Justice. We will do what America did. Big difference between Washington and Pakistan. How will the Indian government react? What can we do? What are Kulbhushan Jadhav's options?